Law of success, enthusiasm. My friends, you may have heard this. Everybody likes to buy, but nobody wants to be sold to. Think about that as I share this experience. Napoleon Hill says that he had a gentleman come into his office that was selling some magazines, including the New York Evening Post. And he says, "You wouldn't buy a magazine to help a fellow out, would you?" And Napoleon Hill says, "Of course." I said, "No." He said, several months later, another magazine salesperson came along from the same company, and it was a young lady. She was carrying a bundle of 6 magazines that she was trying to sell. And he said she walked in, and she said she didn't ask me to buy. She simply said this: "Oh, I see that you are a lover of books and magazines." And Napoleon said, I proudly said yes. And he said, then I began to watch how she operated, as I was a student myself of enthusiasm and selling and the principles which she seemed to be using. And he said, so I expected her to use her enthusiasm, a little bit of charm, to sell me these magazines. And he said, but what she did was much more powerful. He said she used her enthusiasm to get me interested in something that I was already interested in. He said she next walked over to my bookshelf, and she said she pulled off of it the essay on Emerson. And she said, or he says, she spent the next 10 minutes talking about that essay and using points of view that I personally had not thought of. He said, which I would use later in some of my editorials. So she had served him and not sold him. Think about that, my friends, with enthusiasm. And then he says, I paid close attention to what she did. And he said, in the process, he said, she got me enthusiastic. So not only was she enthusiastic, but he said she got me enthusiastic. Why? Because she served him instead of sold him with enthusiasm. He said before the experience was over, he said, not only had I purchased, but he said she sold 6 other people in my office the same way. My friends, enthusiasm. Serve, don't sell.